Hey! I see us! Woohoo! First stream of the new year. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 266, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff. John? 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 Can you hear me, John?
I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Huh.
I can't hear you.
Awesome. Let me try to troubleshoot that. It's going to look weird for a second. Interesting. Zoom says we have the right selection. I don't know.
Nope. I heard you typing earlier.
Interesting. Let's
see. Speakers.
Yeah, check your speakers. Because my microphone is the Scarlett USB.
Wait. There you are. I see you.
Okay. Are you good?
There we go. Yep.
All right. It wasn't my fault.
Yay.
Yay. Honestly, we're professionals after doing this for so many years. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 266. Oh, yeah. You went... You went, oh, you can hear me now? Like... And I went, thumbs up. And okay, cool. I'm going to go live. And then I did the first part of the intro, and I went, I'm Jeff. And you're just...
My bad.
Oh,
hey, I'm John.
Awesome.
It was a delay.
If only John didn't show up before 5:59.
What? Traffic. I get off at 5, and it's like a 55-minute drive to get home.
Yeah. Jeez. Anyway, your once week live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us on this Wednesday night, or in podcast form over on Anchor.fm, or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. You can also catch clips from this show over on Craft Extra. Link in the video description on where to subscribe. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, usually some Star Trek. All super chats are right on the air, so long as they will not permanently demonetize the channel. We do drink alcohol on the show, and if drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat, and we'll give some early show shoutouts as we go along. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat or the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to the Discord server. You can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out over there. I was
had to do it twice.
I was thinking about beer, and all of a sudden, like, I started salivating, and then what do I do with all this now?
It's just either like I have to swallow or it just leaks out as I'm talking.
But I have one more sentence to do. Welcome to the new year, everyone. Only took us 5 minutes to start the show. Cool.
I really hope that's not a sign of 23.
Right. How was your new year?
It was pretty laid back. I went to my brother's for a little bit. Wife was feeling a bit under the weather. We hosted Christmas this year at our house for my 38, 39 people. Mm-hmm. And like the moment the last person left, my wife was like, my voice is gone. And like it just dropped. And then so she didn't have a voice for a couple days. Then she got like a bit of a couple people got like a stomach flu, like three or four people out there.
That's the
worst. And so she got she didn't get that, but she got something where felt like like a bad cold. Yeah, not the flu, but a bad cold. Yeah. So she kind of missed out on New Year's, but she just wanted to relax. So I took my son over Steve's place, play with their cousins, but brought him back relatively like 8:30, 9-ish. And then just relaxed. Nice. Wife went to bed early. I stayed up till I think 12:30. celebrated the new year with a old fashioned.
Yeah.
So
there you go. I should have invited you guys over. We were in your neighborhood celebrating, and I bartend every year at our New Year's
you were
celebration.
literally probably like that's like 2 blocks away.
Right, exactly. Like I've flown a drone by Steve's house a couple of times. Looked in his windows. So yeah,
those mosquitoes are getting large.
Yeah, no, we'll have to get you guys over there for next year.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Welcome to the new year, everyone. Let's start it off. John, what are you drinking tonight?
I got 2 beers. I'm gonna go with I don't know what this is. I'm pretty sure it's an IPA. Okay, it is an IPA. I literally bought it just for the label because the label is a bunch of coins and they're all named differently. But the other cool thing is it's not like a solid wrap. There's gaps in the sticker. It's all cut out.
Interesting.
And so I was like, wow, someone took the time to put this label on here.
Right. Or did like a vinyl job where you remove a top coat and it leaves the stickers underneath
it. Each one of these coins is an individual sticker.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying is you can put them all onto a single sheet, wrap it around, and then take the top layer off. But
Holy Satoshi. That's what it's called.
Awesome.
But, IPA. Let's see, Sandport, California. I don't see a percentage, and if it is, it's probably hidden in one of the coins. So, IPA.
I'm also drinking an IPA, an American IPA, in fact, from Fort George. This is the Pizza Pals IPA.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I have not had this one yet, but saw it in the store the other day and figured why not. Drink fresh, do not age, best refrigerated, unfiltered, expect sediment at the bottom of the can, pizza not included. So I think this one's 7.2%.
Raw buckwheat, raw barley, spelt, and oats. Oh, wait, there we go. Well, that is really hard to find. 16 ounces, 1 pint. Everything's hidden.
Well, yeah, it's randomly on a sticker.
Yeah, it's just I want the information. Oh wait, all right, 6.3. There it is. It's on a dime. That is a hazy looking beer.
Anyway,
how was your New Year's?
It was good. Like I said, we do basically homebrewed bar New Year's. Typically, we've done casino nights a couple of times where we'll do craps and poker and roulette and things like that, and set that up for 20 or 30 people, and you play casino games all night, or you'll do trivia. And so for the last 2 or 3 years, really good friend of mine has basically done an entire trivia thing for everyone, and there's a cash pool at the end.
Cool.
And then I usually bartend the event, and made a lot of really good cocktails. Brought up my cocktail smoker, so I did a lot of oak smoked old fashions and Godfathers and martinis and things like that. It was good. It was a lot of fun.
Did you guys stay up the whole night?
Oh yeah. We didn't leave until 12:45.
Nice.
So yeah, it was good. It's a good time. Very thick head on this one, like meringue style head.
Mine as well. It's kind of sticking around. I usually take like 1 or 2 sips and then the head's gone, and it's still staying around.
Ooh. Boy, that is way juicier than I expected. Gonna have to dig into that one a little bit. Let's see.
I got an apricot one. I saw a couple of drinks.
Yeah, we got a couple drinks in there tonight. Sean is drinking a local brewery, Canteen Brewhouse Exodus IPA. Harley's got some New Year's leftovers, Surly's Axeman from Surly Brewing. Colton's got a Founders KBS. Always a good one. Williams got a 903. That is
the brewery 903.
Yeah. Okay.
Magic bar.
Okay. Stout. Yeah. Sorry. That's right. I was going 903. I know that beer. No, wait. 903 is the brewery. Okay.
903. Yeah. They always have like it's a road sign.
Yeah. I remember now. Trey is having an Einstock Icelandic Doppelbock. We may have something in common a little later in the show.
Fancy.
North is drinking the tears of those who were ready for the 3070 Ti to be cheap. Drinking Caldera Toasted Coconut Chocolate Porter. That's from Jason. Good stuff. And After Dark just cracked a Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA.
Ooh,
excellent.
What year is that one? I don't know if that's this year's.
I don't know. And Vince says,
pretty well.
And Vince says he's here just in time. Greetings from Southern Cal. What are you doing down there? Don't you have like a view of the Space Needle you're missing right now? Anyway. Let's finally get this well-running oiled machine on the road, shall we?
Hey, 16 minutes in as an intro.
Yeah.
That's not horrible.
It's not
horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible.
So the 4070 Ti is now official. Obviously, NVIDIA had their press conference yesterday, and did the announcement and made some pretty grandiose claims. That the 4070 Ti was going to be a 3090 Ti killer and 3 times faster than a GTX 1080 Ti, and the king of productivity and like the greatest thing ever. Still costs $800. Oh, and by the way, there's no such thing as a Founders Edition card. So $799, completely off the table. You're looking $850 plus, regardless of what card you manage to get a hold of, if you even want to get a hold of one of these. Which, judging from the 4080 overstock and sitting on plenty of shelves, I doubt a lot of people are going to be breaking down the doors of Best Buy. In the video description, I did link videocards.com. They've got a very comprehensive list for a 4070 Ti roundup from all your favorites or regional review sites. Everything from Gamers Nexus and eTechnics to Jay's 2 Cents, DeBauer, Kit Guru. They're all in there. If you haven't seen the reviews, I can sum them up very quickly. This card is just the 4080 12 gig that NVIDIA decided to rename after Reddit lost its collective mind, justifiably, for splitting the 4080 name between two cards that were very clearly not in the same league. Instead, they renamed it to the 4070 Ti and gave it a $100 price cut. It was originally supposed to be an $899 card. Now it is a $799 MSRP card. Is it a 3090 Ti killer? It plays on the same playground. I'll say that much. It lost to it in a couple benchmarks, especially very memory bandwidth intensive things, such as ray traced games, 4K with high texture streams, Cyberpunk 2077, and games like that are massively graphics intensive and have all the bells and whistles and every API possible turned on. It flat out lost, sometimes by multiple percentage points. In some games, it pulled ahead by a decent margin, by 7%. But I wouldn't call it a 3090 Ti killer. Your 3090 Ti was a $2,000 card, and in a lot of regards is still the better buy with 24 gigs of video memory if you do anything remotely that requires productivity or extra memory bandwidth or things like that. Yeah. Memory bandwidth compared to the 3070 Ti actually went down on the 4070 Ti. Down from a 228-bit bus and something like 700 gigabytes per second to a 192-bit bus and only 505 gigabytes per second. So again, if you are running memory-intensive things, this may not be the card for you, or you want all those ray traced bells and whistles, flying. This may not be the card for you. But it goes back to the same old thing. This card is wildly expensive at $800. This ties into a story in just a couple of minutes that desktop GPU sales are at a 20-year low. I wonder why that is. Global recession, people can't afford food or rent or gas or anything like that right now. Yeah, let's drop $800 on a mid-tier graphics card. Just what the average consumer wants, right?
Right, totally.
Ugh.
Well, and like you were saying, the performance-wise of this card too isn't even all like you were saying. It's not a killer. It's kind of like the old jump. It is. They did just do the whole Scooby-Doo meme of like, hey, here's the new 4080.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's all it is.
It was the 4070 Ti all along.
Exactly.
Right.
That's really all
and
this was.
why would you as NVIDIA get on stage and say it's 3 times faster than a GTX 1080? I certainly hope that a 4th generation card is 3 times faster than the previous generation flagship by a very good margin. Oh, and by the way, that card is also 7 years old at this point. And that card was only $500.
Yeah.
You're not doing yourselves any favors by going, remember how good we had it when a GTX 1080 was the flagship tier card and was only $499 MSRP? Remember those days? Well, screw you. Where's our $800?
Yeah.
It's not the greatest of looks.
Now double it.
So, now, I will say, as someone who did not review a 4070 Ti, I'm also a little bit salty at the timing of this. CES is a known event. It didn't spring up all of a sudden overnight. It is one of the 2 premier consumer electronics, specifically revolving around PC components, in a calendar year. It is one of 2 premier events, the other being Computex, with Computex being a little bit more focused on PC tech than consumer electronics in general. But it's not like you don't know when this event is going to be. It's the first week of January, every single year for the last 20 years. Why NVIDIA decided that the embargo date would be Wednesday of CES. As a reviewer, that's an absolute slap in the face, because as a tech reviewer journalist, there's about a 15-day period that I can guarantee that no products are going to come out. And that is pretty much from December 20th through January 5th. Nothing's going to come out the week of Christmas, or the week of New Year's, or the week of CES. Embargo dates are the week after. It's just usually how it goes. So no, instead of reviewers getting a chance to spend times with their family and take off the 2 weeks a year that there's not a lot happening in tech, you don't have to be covering things, NVIDIA decided to send reviewers graphics cards, make them do benchmarks, and then publish it on a day in which none of them are going to be home because they're attending your press conference that you required them to attend or wanted them to attend to cover the launch of the card the day before. Yeah.
No, that's a good point.
I'm furious on behalf of people who reviewed the 4070 Ti. Because if I'm in Vegas right now, I don't get to sit there and watch the launch of a video and make sure it's performing well. I don't get to interact with the community. I don't get to answer questions. I'm already off busy doing other things and covering other products, and NVIDIA just wanted to dominate the press cycle. And so they're like, no, we're going to launch on January 4th. That's a perfectly reasonable day to launch a card. 3 days after a holiday, in which everyone stays up till midnight. And literally the Wednesday of CES. That seems like a perfect timeline to do things on. I'm pissed, and I didn't even review the card. And then the card's just not all that great. It's not. There's nothing there to wow me. There's nothing there to make me want to spend $800. I look at the reviews at 1440 and 4K, and yeah, you can crank everything up to ultra settings, but we're still talking about most games being playable at an average of well over 100 FPS with lows in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think majority of like all of this stuff too is for me, performance, and we always constantly talk about price per performance. This again goes back to an article we're going to hit on later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's garbage for the price. You know, it's like Ferrari sitting there and telling you, hey, we got this brand new Ferrari. It's going to be the fastest Ferrari ever. And it's a front engine convertible, and it's overpriced. They just basically dressed up a Mazda and be like, oh, look at that. There you go.
Oh,
the
God,
Ferrari.
What was the, it was Aston Martin. Aston Martin had to meet emissions requirements and released essentially a rebranded Chevy Spark.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about.
But it was like $80,000. And all they did was put Aston Martin branding on a Chevy Spark, which, by the way, starts at like $11,000. There were no special features. There were no... Doug DeMuro actually did a review of one, and it's hilarious. Because everything still says Chevy on it underneath the Aston Martin stickers. Aston Martin Signet. There it is.
Signet.
Yep. Someone knew it. Oh, it's a Toyota. That's right. It was the. It wasn't the Chevy Spark. It was the Scion/Toyota IA. That's right. Yep. That's right. Which is also the Mazda 2. I believe the Mazda 2 is also a rebadge of the IA. Terrible, terrible car. Oh my gosh, I own a Spark. Thinking of adding luxurious anything to it is appalling. My brother-in-law owns a Spark, and it's great for what it is. I mean, it's an affordable economy car. It gets 45, 50 miles to the gallon. I mean, is what it is. And it's a 4-door. Like,
yep.
What more do you want?
I mean, you're not going to be hauling a lot, but yeah, like you said, you're just in town and you're doing a little commute.
For a city runabout, which is pretty much what it's designed to be, fantastic car. Oh. But, yeah. If you wanted to know why EVGA stopped making graphics cards for NVIDIA, when NVIDIA graphics card sales represented 80% of their revenue, this kind of crap is why. Like, think of how NVIDIA is screwing over reviewers and board partners and customers and everything else with high prices, selling direct to miners when that was a thing last year, and just flat out continuing to look. It's not that they don't make good cards, it's that they're just a terrible value. And at this point in time, with the economy the way it is, usually luxury commodities like graphics cards go down in price to match what people are currently able to spend on commodity items. Instead, nVidia's tripled it. They've gone from $500 to $1,500 for flagship cards in the last 7 years. And you wonder why EVGA doesn't make cards anymore. All right. Chuck sends over $5. Thank you very much, Chuck. Much appreciated. No message with it. I don't know if you just didn't put one in, but if you have a question, leave it right under that. I'll see if I can follow that up. As part of CES, Intel launches 16 new 13th gen Raptor-like desktop CPUs, both higher priced and higher power consumption. So these are more in line of kind of the mid-tier level chips. We're now getting the 13700F officially released, although I did review a 13700KF in a video just a couple of weeks ago. I guess not review, it was a sponsored video, but took a look at some of the performance of that. Yeah, a little bit of a price drop considering, $410 SKU down to $385.
84, yeah.
Yeah, $20, $30 price drop if you don't need the overclock ability. Not everyone does, and honestly, I don't know that there's that much meat on the table for the average consumer to get at without extreme overclocking. But it's nice to see some of these lower price CPUs coming out. But if you move on down the list, we now see the real meat and potatoes of the budget options from Intel. And I'm actually kind of surprised with what I see here. Number one, the 13600 is a 14-core, 20-thread. So that's 6 performance cores and 8 efficiency cores. 5 gigahertz boost clock on the performance cores, $255. That is, in my opinion, an astoundingly good deal when you consider it's only about $50 more than a Ryzen 5600 at $200 with 6 cores and 12 threads. So Intel's coming out swinging, waiting on Ryzen to launch some lower end parts. Even below that, we've got the 13500 at $230. Again, 14 core, 20 thread with the performance and efficiency cores with a 4.8 gigahertz boost. 13400, also available in a 13400F. I think this one is probably squarely in the sights of the 5600 as far as showing some domination. 10 core, 16 thread. You only get 4 efficiency cores, but you still get those 6 performance cores. 4.6 gigahertz turbo on that. $200, $199.
Yep.
Now they do still offer the 13100F. Honestly, if it's me, $130 is a little overpriced for a 4-core 8-thread. Even though it's 4 performance cores, it's a little overpriced. You only get a 4.5 gigahertz boost. It's not overclockable. I think $135 is stretching a little bit. I would like to see this down with what they had the 10100 for, which was an $85 4-core CPU. Now was
that $99 mark, price point.
Right, exactly. So I'm glad to see that those price points being driven down a little bit by Intel. That, and again, performance-wise, they're kind of coming out swinging here. But the black sheep of this family, I think, is that 13100F at being, it's just too expensive. I mean, at $200, you're getting 10 cores and 16 threads. Versus 135, you're only getting 4 cores, 8 threads with a lower boost.
That, I'd even go for the 13500 for an extra $30 and buy a crap keyboard.
Right. Then you get 10 extra performance cores and 8 efficiency cores. So for $100, $90.
Yeah. For $90, you go and just buy that cheap 60 hertz monitor instead, and wait till next year to upgrade your monitor.
Right.
That's and boom, look at the sweet processor you got.
Well, also, it's not like 1080p 144 hertz monitors are that expensive anymore. I mean, you can pick one up for like $150.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. You can go get like a standard one for like what, $60. So there's your extra money basically.
Yeah.
But no, these are sweet. These are the price is dropping. The power also is very nice to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, when you overclock them, are a little bit high, but still the standalone startup is very much low. I think the highest one was 125, but most of them are sticking in that 65 watt area. Very manageable. A 500 right now. If you had one of those and a decent power supply, 500 watts, 700 watts is really all you need.
Right.
So that's nice.
I will say that if we scroll this list over and we do look at the wattage, they're calling all of these 65 watt, but that doesn't really represent the total wattage. And I'm glad that Intel is giving the total actual wattage numbers of their chips now, instead of going, oh yeah, it's a 95 watt part 180 watts later. Like, those sons of lied to me. Like, these aren't 65 watt chips unless you disable turbo, in which case some of these you're running at like 2.5 gigahertz. Yeah, 2.7 gigahertz base clock on the 13600. No one's going to disable turbo on these. No. Now, you're not necessarily going to run them balls to the wall either, but you're not going to disable turbo. So 154 watts for the 13600, even still 89 watts for the 13100. And again, that seems a little high to me.
Well, you can't overclock it. You can't. That's the thing.
You can't overclock it, but still 89 watts for a 4-core processor.
I know. Well, that's what's funny though, is you can't overclock it, so you're stuck there, and it's like, oh, it's 60 watt to 89 watts. The performance.
Yeah.
So
one other thing to note too is the Ryzen 7000 CPUs only support DDR5. There's only a DDR5 memory controller in those chips. If you want to get on the AM5 platform, it's DDR5 only, which is significantly more expensive at this point in time. Remember, Rocket Lake CPUs also support DDR4. They have dual controllers on board, so you can run DDR5 or DDR4 depending on the motherboard that you buy. So again, kind of coming out swinging for that low-end price point. Now, I'd love to see some much more affordable motherboards out of Intel, get us below that $100 price point. Because honestly, most of the, what is it? The B660, I think, is the current generation. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. The B660, most of them are still like $120, $130 for micro ATX and ATX motherboards. And then ITX is even more expensive. It kind of makes it hard to justify that budget price tier when your motherboard is almost the same price as your CPU.
Yeah, I know. Even going through this in my head, I was like, this is still a $750 computer. With this chip, the motherboard, the RAM that you're going to need to require. The only thing cheap I'm reminded or thinking, I was like, oh, hard drive's cheap. Okay, that I don't really have to consider.
Solid state storage has gone through the floor in the last couple of months.
You can get some nice ones. And if you want to get junk ones too, they're like
$13 for a 240 gig NVMe.
Yeah, I paid $11.99 for 250.
I also just bought a couple 1 terabyte SATAs for another project. They were $43.
Yeah,
1 terabyte, $43 solid state. Yeah. So it's gotten stupid inexpensive.
I know. I mean, a decent mouse and keyboard set is going to run you more than your hard drive. Yeah. So, and that's not even like top of the line keyboard and mouse set, but just, a decent even combo. But yeah, even looking at this, a case, you're looking at $120 ish. One of these cores right here, you're 200, let's go mid tier 230, just 200 then. So you're 300 there, another 200 for the board. So you're 500 there. $50 for your hard drive, 550, another $50 for your keyboard and mouse, 600. Monitor, $700. $750 is what you're gonna be paying for mid-level computer like this. And so I'm still like, that's not budget friendly. These, to me, when they were saying they were budget, I was like, these are mid-tier processors. These are like, I do have a little bit of extra money. I can afford a little bit better price. I might have to sacrifice one thing. So I don't think these are budget like it's trying to claim, or the price went down. But...
Yeah. The CPU competition that we all wanted to happen between AMD and Intel is in full swing. And right now, Intel is aiming for that massive bang for the buck. Oh, and also fighting for the performance crown at the top end. Between the 7950X and the 13900KF. And it's a good fight. And if mine and Ian Cuttress's theory of Sapphire Rapids coming to the workstation turns out to be correct, which I think we covered 2 weeks ago, a potentially leaked workstation motherboard with Sapphire Rapids chipsets on it. If that comes to fruition, oh man, that's going to be a shot across the bow at Threadripper and Epic both. It's a shame we're not seeing the same competition and driving prices down in the graphics card space. To NVIDIA's credit, they're doing a phenomenal job at keeping those prices high. And I don't know if it's just a matter of scale for AMD cards. I don't know if it's so much bad press over so many years that people don't want to justify it, or just the fact of the matter is no one's going out and buying new graphics cards right now, whether they're 4000 series or 7000 series AMD. The latter of which could very much be true, as we alluded to this earlier, but desktop GPU sales hit a 20-year low and in fact dipped 42% from just a year ago. Now, obviously, the crypto crash is a massive factor in that. But the fact of the matter is that consumers just aren't going out and buying graphics cards right now. For pretty much all the reasons we just listed. They're way too expensive. They're not that much better performance than we've seen or than we need over the last couple of generations of cards.
Yeah.
If you bought a GTX 1080 7 years ago, what do you need to upgrade?
Well, that was actually kind of my thought, was that I think, like we were talking about, there's all throughout the past couple of years, more people have been staying indoors, the whole 2020, virus, malware thing. But I think people learned to just, I have my PC here. I'm good with this. I can deal with this. And then there was the shortage. There was the whole supply chain shortage and chip, loss. I think people are in stock shortage. And so when people did go out to go buy, they're like, I can't even find one anymore. And miners are taking them all. Then the companies just sell directly to the miners and say, consumers are, second fiddle. Mm-hmm. So I think people just got tired of looking and caring. Like, I don't care. I am perfectly content playing with my old stuff still. I'm starting to re-enjoy it, and I don't need to upgrade. I think that also kind of factors in too. Or they're just buying in the used market and just being like, finally, eBay is coming back, and Craigslist, Facebook Market, whatever, is coming back to where people will then turn around and sell their used ones. Like, unfortunately, right now, people are hurting for money. So they're like, look, I will rather sell my brand new, these people that did go and search for the brand new 3080 series, whatever, they're selling it for a cheaper price. They're trying to, or at least MSRP, and it's barely been used.
Yeah.
So
no, I bought not that long ago a GTX 1080 for $140, Founders Edition. Like new condition. Works fantastic. Yeah. I got a Ryzen 3700X for $130. I got a B550 motherboard off Amazon for I think $65 or $70 with Wi-Fi and like all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
DDR4 memory is way down right now. We've got NVMe storage is way down right now. That's a pretty ballin' little system if you're looking at 1080p or even 1440 gaming. Are you going to be cranking out 144 FPS? No, but I don't think at $500 you need to.
And you're still going to have fun, though. That's the thing.
But it's not like you can't play the games.
Yeah.
And
you're not trying to be a competitor or anything. You're like, I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
I'm not professionally competing.
Right. This is actually a video that I'm going to be writing up tomorrow and hopefully filming over the weekend. Is just that. It's a premise based on some existing content that I've done, but it really does also hit at the budget gamer. And do you need to go out and buy a 4070 Ti right now to enjoy games? And I think consumers are just as guilty as NVIDIA and AMD are for pushing the frame rate wars up into the, you're not a real gamer unless you're at 144 FPS. Remember when the 1080 was out and it was like, it's 60 FPS or nothing. Well, now it's like 120 FPS or nothing. And I'll admit, 120 is smoother than 60. Like,
it's a very noticeable difference.
Yes, it's a very noticeable difference. But am I not going to enjoy the game at 60 FPS? Look, I went and watched Avatar in the theaters this weekend, and it fluctuated between 48 and 24, seemingly at random between scenes. That was a little jarring. But if my game fluctuates between 60 and 80, I don't care. And is 120 that much more playable than 80? And do you need to upgrade to get that? Do you even need to upgrade your card at all? Like there's a whole bunch of questions within that realm. And even if you were to go and spend $500 on a new card to upgrade from a GTX 1080 that you bought 7 years ago, are you getting much better performance today than you did then? Is it actually a better deal? Is it actually a better value? Are you actually upgrading?
Exactly. And then on top of
what's a 3060 get you today?
It's not even just that. You have to upgrade all of your hardware too, or at least, your monitor. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to need a better power supply. It's not just that $800 price point for the card and be like, oh, everything's going to be better. It probably doesn't even work with your motherboard then. So you actually do need to go get a whole entire. It
would totally work with the motherboard. The problem
but like power supply and.
Right. Yeah. The main problem with how fast graphics cards have gotten are you're seeing CPU bottlenecks at 1440 and even 4K in some cases. And so if you were to go out and drop $800 on a 4070 Ti, but the rest of your rig is 7 years old and you're still running an 8700K or something from that generation, boy, you're not going to get the performance you think you're going to get, even though you're rocking a top-flight graphics card.
Exactly.
Because 4.5 gigahertz on an 8700K is not Rocket League speed. Like, let me just be the first to disappoint you there.
So you're just not, it's not even that like if you saved up all of your money and be like, oh, I'm going to buy that graphics card, you're going to probably need a whole lot more to get the performance that you think you're going to be doing, to where you probably could just upgrade, and you don't, if you really needed to or wanted to just one generation above whatever you probably already currently have. Right. And then you'd probably see a pretty decent performance. But if you then think about it, take a step back, is that one generation jump actually that much better in performance? I can understand it as a working computer, like graphics, editing, or something along that line.
If we're talking from a Pascal card to a Turing card, no, you should not upgrade. You should not make that upgrade unless it's handed to you. If you want to jump to a 3000 series and you want to jump from a 1080 to a 3070 Ti, I think that's a pretty modest jump. But at the same time, the 3070 and 3070 Ti are still like $500 graphics cards. I don't know that I'd make that jump. I don't know that it's a significant enough upgrade to warrant it. It's definitely an upgrade, but it's 15 or 20%. And if your 1080 can already game at 60 to 80 FPS in most games at 1440p, even if you have to, drop your anti-aliasing down from 4x to 2x, or even, God forbid, go FXAA. What if you had to, lower your water reflection resolution down a couple of clicks? Like, there are sacrifices we can all make when it comes to graphical clarity to get better frame rates. And I'm the first to say I'm easily on the list that will go, screw the graphics, I want faster frame rates anymore.
Yeah.
But...
Well, go ahead.
But do you need to upgrade your 1080 to get 20% faster performance in Red Dead Redemption 2 by buying a 3070, or could you just drop a couple of graphics settings?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the other issues too is also just how they've advertised these graphics cards of, like it says, 30-40% jump to 10x better than this. And the consumer that doesn't know anything, the gamer, the kid that doesn't know anything, that goes to his parents or his mom and being like, look, my 1080, my old computer you bought me 5 years ago, I need the latest and greatest. Doesn't know, hey, if you just go into your settings, you can get these very playable frame rates. Right. They don't know that. I almost wonder that there's a couple of videos right there just talking like that, or there's a channel. I think there actually are a couple channels that do that.
We've talked about Rhett and I internally doing game optimization guides for what settings affect your performance the most in various games. So basically getting on the new hotness, jumping into Elden Ring and saying, and literally benchmarking every game and giving empirical, objective data of what does each setting affect in the open world, in a field, in a cave, in a castle. And here's how to tweak your graphics card and your graphics settings to get the best performance out of whatever your hardware is. It's a lot of legwork. It's a lot of... It's multiple days of testing and benchmarking and whatnot. And it affects different generations of cards differently. And so if you have ray tracing versus not, or you have more memory versus not, or you have AMD versus NVIDIA, different settings will have different impacts in your gameplay. And it's a per game basis usually because of how that particular developer implemented an API. So it's very leg-heavy work, and I'm not sure... I know Hardware Unboxed has tackled this in the past, and they kind of stopped doing it because of how much work it ended up being. I don't know how much time and effort I'm willing to sink into that kind of content, but we definitely talked about, like, that's definitely an area of interest. Yeah. But is the payoff worth it? And like, do we want to be that outlet? I don't know. So... You know what I do know? How great our sponsor is.
That's right.
Today's video is brought to you by Linode. Hosting your own servers also means you get to host all your own problems. And even the most skilled network engineers will tell you you should decentralize your network. So why not host your services with Linode? If it runs on Linux, it'll run on Linode. That includes the tutorials you've seen on my channel, like how to run your own ad-blocking recursive DNS server, VPN gateway, your own cloud-based Plex server, and more. They offer shared CPU plans for as little as $5 per month and can scale as high as your needs go, whether it be virtualized hosting, dedicated enterprise GPUs, NVMe block storage, and more. Even if you do host your own servers, you can use Linode to keep a backup off-site, because remember, RAID is not a backup. Linode is also expanding at light speed, with 12 new global data centers planned before the end of this calendar year. Visit linode.com/craftcomputing and get a $100 60-day credit just for signing up for a new account. That's linode.com/craftcomputing, and I get a huge thanks to Linode for being a constant sponsor of Talking Heads.
Thank you, guys. We did get our standard super chat from Kren.
Oh, there he is. G'day. G'day, Kren. G'day, mates. Always good when you're the only one who shows to the office. Yeah. As for budget gamers, currently looking at upgrading to a GTX 1660 Ti. Yeah, some of the 16 series have been massively dropping on the used market. I do have a very, very interesting budget gamer video coming up. Now, the graphics card itself, I think, is still $290. But it's brand new, in box, and it is a phenomenal value at $300. So I'm just going to float that out there. I'm hoping to do this review this next week, so look for it in like the second week of January, right on the 14th or so, of this graphics card review coming out, because it is not only is it a very interesting graphics card, it is something that is so up my alley, it's not even funny. I'll drop that as a hint. So, yeah, make sure you're subscribed. Lots of fun stuff coming up. We've also got, like I said, I alluded to a video this next week talking specifically about like building budget PCs and where you should put your money. And the concept of this video is used Xeons are dead, long live used Xeons.
Yes.
That's going to be the title of that video. Yeah. If you benchmark it against like a modern CPU, you're going to get your butt kicked like every day and twice on Tuesday. But can it still play games? You bet it can. So that'll be an interesting video. Gearling's in the chat. Well enough, I finished editing a video for tomorrow morning. Might be clear to lift over 10 pounds next week. Or no, less than 10 pounds last week. Or greater than 10 pounds. Okay, so he typed in less than, thought greater than. I misread it, flipped it around. He corrected. Awesome. Might be cleared to lift more than 10 pounds. Yay! There's Jeffs all over the place. Woohoo! Yeah. There's Jeffs here. There's Jeffs in the Mirror universe, where we tend to take over.
The Mirrored universes, they're all shaven, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So wait, are you the evil one then?
No, the joke I've used on the channel before is Mirror Universe Jeff doesn't use Manscaped. That's how you can tell us apart. But you got to get us behind closed doors, so to speak.
It's a different kind of mustache.
Even Mirror Universe Jeff has a beard. Like, long live X79. I'm more of on the X99 bandwidth or bandwagon now, especially because of price drops and so on and so forth. Like, you can get like a 2698 V4 for under $100. Like, holy crap. You want 18 cores? You got 18 cores. You want 3.7 gigahertz boosts and DDR4 support and native NVMe? Oh, baby. It's all there. So, John J reminded me I might have some beer mail around here. I need to figure out what I did with that box. I think I see it. Give me like 5 seconds here.
All right. Well, let's go in the chat. How did everyone have a good New Year's? Anyone in the chat do anything interesting for their New Year's Day other than like what we did, which is drinking? Let us know in the chat. And if there's anything interesting, we will make note of it.
All right. 2666 V3. I do have a 2667 V4 video. That's actually the Xeon that I'm using for my testing. 2667 V4. It seemed very fitting since I started my channel with a 2667 V1 as kind of like the budget killer. And actually I paid less for this CPU than I did for the V1 to tell you how long I've been doing this crap for. Anyway, beer mail from John J. Oh my god, it's a box. So I opened the box and there's a box inside the box, which is always a good sign. Let's see. Oh man. Okay, Adroit Theory and Kushwa Brewing. Future You Hates You, Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I saw that one.
I have the 16-ounce can of this already. So I'm glad I get a 12-ounce because this is a 13.5% beer. So yes, I can drink one by myself and then split one when I have friends come over. Let's see. Next up. Of course, this one's sealed in a perfect circle, so it's hard to get a knife into it. There we go. Got another 12er, Adroit Theory, Evil. Oh, What Evil Lurks. There we go. Russian Imperial Stout. Cubano Roast Coffee cocoa nibs, pumpkin spices, and maple syrup.
Pumpkin beer?
Pumpkin beer. Again, 13.5%. There you go. Ooh. What Evil Lurks from Adroit Theory. And there's a box in here.
Oh, is it liquor or is it just a really rare beer?
Still not sure. Oh, John, did your camera die? Oh,
did it? Uh-oh. Ah! There's a keyboard under my feet.
I'm going to wait for John to get back before I show him this box.
Oh, I didn't have my camera plugged in. That makes sense. Whoops. There you go. Let's see.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow. John will come back in a sec, but I want John's reaction to this one. Okay.
I'm back.
So I'm glad this was a box inside of a box because this box almost didn't survive. This top rattled around in here quite a bit, but all the liquid is still in it, I can assure you. So from Goose Island Brewing.
Oh, I already know what it is.
Damn it. No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. Do you have a guess?
I do have a guess.
What's your guess?
The Goose Island Bourbon County Stout, triple distilled, anniversary, I think it was, something like that.
From Goose Island Brewing, it is the 30 Years of Stout.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2022 edition. So I
think that's Jim. I think that it's like aged in 3 different.
It's Knob Creek, Booker's, Baker's, and Basil Hayden.
Yeah, so four different ones.
It's aged in 4 different barrels of whiskey. Yeah, Bourbon County Reserve brand 30th anniversary stout. 14.4%, bottled on July 27th, 2022. That is a rare bottle. That is a bottle I cannot get around here.
No, you cannot.
No. Wow. Thank you, John.
You know, I'm going to start giving him my address.
Right. I mean, I still have some beers for you, John. I've got some pickle beers and a couple pumpkins.
I have some beers for you as well.
Yeah, so we need to do our
exchange,
our quarterly exchange. Yeah,
yes.
It's about time for that.
Yes, I have 2 really good beers actually for you, within the beers, but 2 of them are really good.
Nice,
and they're from the same company who makes the pickle beers, but it's a regular beer.
Oh, good.
So,
all right. Gearling says, smash that like button for more Jeffs. Yeah. Into the multiverse we go. X79 8 cores are still amazing. Yes, but not quite as amazing as some of the 8 core X99s. Like, I'm not gonna begrudge Sandy and Ivy Bridge too much, but if you tried Haswell, it's a thing. Long Live X58. Ooh. Now you're starting to run into some archaic territory. Not saying it doesn't still turn on. I'm just saying it doesn't have AVX instructions natively, and maybe it should. All right. Cool. I am done with my beer, and we are right at the top of the hour. If you want to crack your next one.
This is a brand new one from a local place. It's new and old. Famously, about 7 years ago, a brewery came into being. They were called Great Notion, and at the time, they only brewed 3 beers, and that was their pancake stout, their sour blueberry, and what is it? The IPA.
Their IPA, right?
Yeah, and that's all they had, and they were just selling out madly. But they technically had a fourth secret beer that you could only get in crowler form at the brewery, and that's where they took their blueberry sour and their pancake mix, and they mixed it 50-50 and crowled it, canned it right there for you, and that was the only way to get it. Until now, they officially released their blueberry pancake. So this is an imperial stout with coffee, maple syrup, blueberry, natural flavors, and caramel coloring. So this is a sour, blueberry, mapled pancake beer.
You got me beat. You got me beat on this one. So I do have... Oh,
God, smell it.
I do have what is normally a local beer. However, there are 2 locations for this brewery. They have one in Portland, and they have another in New Mexico. This is Ex Novo Brewing. Okay. Yep. Ex Novo Brewing, most of their brewing operations happen in Portland. However, they do have a brewery in New Mexico, and they basically sister brew with them. And so some of the beers are made both places, and then they will cross-ship between, depending on the type of beer. I've known a number of different breweries who have done this over the years because of water quality differences or just general mineral content in waters, because water is, well, it's 98% of your beer. It better be good.
Yeah.
And
you don't want to be paying money for treatment.
Right. It makes more of a difference than you might think. Anyway, so this is actually an Ex Novo that is brewed down in New Mexico, in Corrales, Mexico. Corrales, New Mexico, excuse me. This is their double decocted German-style Doppelbock, 8%.
Oh.
So this is the Ruminator.
Gosh, this just mapley.
Ooh. Right on the nose, clove. Always a good sign when you're cracking a German beer.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just that banana fig clove kind of combo right up front. That's a beautiful looking beer. I don't know if you can see how clear
caramely.
It is.
I can kind of see your face through the glass.
There's not a speck of anything through this. Like the light is shining straight through.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll capture on camera as well as it should. But man, this is a crystal clear, but still dark beer. All right. Cool. A couple questions going around about my vGPU stuff. My most recent tutorial is the split your GPU. It is, gosh, when did I do that one? May of 2022. That's the most recent method to do vGPU inside of KVM or Proxmox. And I would follow that with all the download links and tutorial links therein. So if you're looking at doing that kind of stuff. There's also paravirtualization of GPUs with Hyper-V, and I do have that tutorial up on my channel as well, which is just a couple of weeks older than that one. So both of those are pretty much 100% up to date as far as the current methodology of doing the GPU stuff. Getting into a little bit more CES content, ASUS has officially announced a 540 hertz 49-inch 5K and 27-inch 4K OLED gaming monitor. Holy crap!
Yeah. That's just a look what we can do. Do we need it? No, but we can do it. I mean, the 27... Oh, wait, did I die? No, okay.
No, 20, you're good.
Okay, the 27-inch OLED, that's cool. But the 50... what was it? The 54-inch... The 540 hertz. Who needs that? Who needs that? Can you even detect that with your eye? No. But it's cool. I mean, that's hard. Especially the size. I really like that too. It is a total CES type thing of just check out what we can do.
Right.
I don't even, they don't even mention price or anything.
I miss the CES of old, which was basically the world's biggest dick measuring contest when it came to consumer electronics. Yeah. Like,
I like that.
I didn't get to cover that CES, the CES that they just did things because they could. InWin's the only one that really comes to shows with, their signature cases anymore with like, we're going to make this case. We're going to make 10 of them. They're going to be $10,000 and we made it because we could. No one else does that anymore. And I miss those days. Yeah.
I mean, that's where you went to the cool, weird builds and the awesome, again, back to monitors. And it's, we can do this. Look at the size of it. It's just big wagging contest. And that's always kind of the point. I've always liked these. There's product announcements for your mainstream products. And that was kind of like what you were talking about earlier with the graphics cards. Why release the embargo at the very first day of CES? You should probably launch it on CES and then, or the end of CES so people can do stuff and whatever. Yeah. Or later, just after it. But, one nationwide product, your main flagship product, but then the rest of it was all of this. Here's all the cool side weird project stuff that we're tinkering with, and really we'll never use it, but we might take 10% of it and plop it into an actual consumer, item.
Right.
That's usually what these, or how I used to be CES was. There's these really cool items. And then once it got to consumer market, it was watered down like 50, 60%. But then it got spread out. That one feature was always the best part of it and just trickled into all of these other products. And so it was always really cool. But it's just like going to like a custom car show when a car company says, here's a concept car. We're not going to build it, but it's a concept car. And it does all these cool things. And we could do this.
Right.
That's kind of what CES used to be. But, I mean, 540 hertz. I wouldn't say no to it.
Right?
But this also goes back to, you're going to need a graphics card that can handle it. You're going to need a processor. You're going to need all the parts to handle it.
Right. You're going to need every single bell and whistle. By the way, 5K.
Yeah.
540 hertz. That's doing it because you can. And I miss products like this. There's also a couple really interesting ones in this list that might fly under the radar because of that Halo product that they're trying to push out there. There's the PG32U QXR, which is the first ROG monitor to feature DisplayPort 2.1 interface. Also supports HDMI 2.1, so both standards are now on board. 32-inch monitor with mini LED backlight, 4K resolution, 160 hertz, has 576 independent lighting zones, 1000 nit brightness, and 95% DCI P3 color gamut. That is a professional workhorse and gaming monitor combo all in one, the likes of which I've never seen on paper all at the same time. That is a crazy cool monitor. They've also got some 1440p monitors with 0.03 millisecond response time and 240 hertz refresh rate. Hertz, yeah. So there's definitely a lot of really cool things that were announced here. I've been a long-time fan of ASUS monitors. We used to use a lot of the ASUS ProArt monitors at my old organization. Simply because of the value in DPI that you would get if you needed to fit a lot of resolution in a fairly small space. And when you can get a 24-inch 1440p when everyone else is making 27s, you buy 24s and you cram more resolution per square inch in. And so we had a lot of those in various deployments. And I like their monitors. I always have. But like I said, when I've done monitor reviews before, like I like gaming panels and I appreciate high refresh rate and low latency and low millisecond response. But there's always something about professional panels that just sucks me in. And I'm crazy about them. Now, I will say recently, I haven't done a video on this monitor even. So at CES 2020, I alluded to a monitor that would be mine eventually. And I was talking about ASUS's 43-inch, 1000 nit HDR, 144 hertz 4K monster. I never got that monitor. But I did get the gigabyte version of it, which is also 1000 nit 4K, 144 hertz. Oh my gosh, I freaking love it. It was a massive upgrade from my LG UD 4379. As far as refresh rate from going from 60 to 144 hertz on the same size panel, going from 8 to 2 millisecond response times on the same size panel. My LG monitor also came factory calibrated, but was 100% sRGB, but only like 72% DCI-P3. This monitor is 100% sRGB and 92% DCI-P3. Oh, and 1000 nits and HDR10. So I bought this monitor last year on Prime Day, and I just haven't gotten around to doing a video on it yet. Developer managed to run Windows 7 on a 5 megahertz CPU with 128 megabytes of RAM. I threw this in here simply for the lulz. This is a fantastic can it run Doom kind of example.
Type thing.
The system took 28 minutes to boot. To turn on and get to a desktop took 28 minutes. Now, the minimum specs for Windows 7 were 1 gigabyte of RAM and I want to say a 1.2 gigahertz or maybe even a 1 gigahertz CPU. So yeah, running it even on a single core 5 gigahertz is absolutely, or 5 megahertz is insanity. This reminds me very much of the time that I tried to install Windows XP on my 486. Because that was a thing that never ended up working. So
yeah, this is an interesting thing. I did you must have just added this recently because I didn't see it in the notes earlier. This is a total. I'm just watching the video or like scrolling through it. Man, things take forever to load. I just
love the idea of it. Of like, can it boot? Can it run? Does it crash? Number one, getting Windows 7 to only occupy a 128 megabyte memory space is an achievement in itself. Like, usually, even the most bare bones Windows 7 installs will occupy between 300 and 500 megabytes of memory. And they required 1 gig to install. So, to me, that's actually the bigger achievement, because if you throw things at the clock, eventually the clock will eat its way through, but memory is a finite resource inside of a system, and if you don't have enough memory, crap's not going to work right. So, the fact that he got the Windows 7 system to boot with only 128 megs, I think that's the bigger achievement.
Yeah. Service pack. Yeah, I love just seeing the information in its Windows 7 Ultimate Service Pack 1, and you can see the text of that screen, that panel is just trying to load, and it's almost just like dot, 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 dot.
Right.
You can see the pixels just going and loading in spots. It's hilarious.
Good times. Good times.
I asked a question in chat, and I was actually kind of surprised. More people are using and gaming on just a 60 hertz monitor.
A lot of people are.
And so it's interesting of having that, you know.
Yeah. And I think that's again part of my argument for why is nVidia focusing so hard on their biggest products. Like all of their marketing goes behind the 4070 and up. When the 4060 launches, we're going to see blurbs of it. And yeah, there'll be a review cycle, but it's not going to be the main thing that's pushed. Ferrari pushes the 458, but they also only make 1 or 2 cars per year. This would be like Chevy only advertising on TV for the ZR1 Corvette and forgetting that, I don't know, the Sonic exists. And I'm sorry, but the Sonic and the Impala are kind of where your bread and butter are at. So yeah, it's really cool that you have a 3-second mid-engine Corvette, but at the same time, I'm just driving to work. And you can't forget about that market either. And it seems like NVIDIA is focusing so hard on the upper end, they've forgotten completely about the lower end. And then AMD is trying to play catch up so much and compete at that top end that they're not seizing the bottom end while it's there to be taken. And I don't understand it. I just don't. Meanwhile, Intel made a card that's $350 that fills that exact niche and no one is buying it. And I don't understand why. Because it's a great card. Go buy an A770. Get on board the ARC bandwagon. If you're looking for a budget gamer flagship card, $350, you can go way wrong on the used market than purchasing that card.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Who was it? Someone said, where was it? Where'd that go? Oh, there it is. Zidane said, now we have to do the reverse, is we have to run Windows CE on a modern gaming PC.
There you go.
There we go. Now that would be hard because the drivers just wouldn't work.
Windows CE was ARM only. It wasn't an x86 based system. And so you could definitely run something like Windows XP Fundamentals or Windows Vista Basic or whatnot on modern hardware and probably get some pretty good results out of it. In fact, right over my shoulder is my arcade machine, which is running on an 8th gen Intel CPU and a GTX 960 mobile card. But it's running Windows 7 and it's not hooked up to the internet at all because it's just on an arcade machine. And I want it to boot and I want it to play and I want it to not warn me that the firewall's not on or that antivirus is out of date or that activation hasn't taken place or, hey, I'm Cortana and I'm here to help. Shut up, I'm here to play games. And Windows 7 is the last version of Windows I can do that with.
Yep, no, that's what I have on my main machine is a Windows 7. It's weird going back to it though because I'll be like, oh, hang on, oh wait, this is how you go to the control panel. Okay, this is where this feature's at. Oh, okay, yeah.
That's what I want it to do right there.
I just want to turn on.
I want it to play games. That's it.
I know. I was actually thinking about downgrading my stand-up one to something smaller like that.
Yeah. I really like the form factor of this, especially now that I've put legs on it. Because I built this as a bar top arcade. And then, but I don't have any spare surfaces in my life to place this on. And so it ended up sitting on my garage shelf for a couple of months. So a couple of companies have sent me desks over the years, and I've reviewed a couple of desks, and then I've promptly taken them apart because I go the tried and true IKEA countertop method, man. Like,
yep.
1.5-inch butcher block on a set of really sturdy steel legs. Like, that's my game. That is my jam. So I don't need these, you know, not necessarily great desks, or yeah, you happen to be sit stand, cool, but you've got this crappy Formica top, and I'm just not a fan of it. So I had a bunch of desks and a bunch of desk parts laying around. So I took apart an Arazi gaming desk, and that's what the legs are right there. I joined the legs together with a strip of aluminum from Home Depot and bolted it all together and then bolted it to the bottom of the arcade machine. So now it's a like sit-down arcade machine. Like, you pull up a couple of bar stools and you can play 2-player on it. And it's the perfect form factor because the whole thing is like 19 inches square.
Yeah.
It doesn't take up any space at all. It can sit in the corner of any room. This has been in my living room for the last year, completely out of the way, but ready to sit down at a moment's notice and you know, fire up NBA Jam or Golden Axe or something like that. So
yeah,
it's been fantastic. Anyway, yeah, I've got a couple really good videos focused around budget computing in the next couple of weeks.
Those are always some of the nice ones that seem to always do very well.
And I think this year I really want to circle back into some of my older content. Like, my content tends to go in waves of doing nothing but new stuff and new reviews and new hardware and new server builds, and then I'll come back down on the back slope and go like, you know what? I want to do some used Xeon stuff and used enterprise gadgets and, you know, budget gaming builds and you know, inexpensive workstations that have like 300 gigs of RAM and crap like that. And that's kind of where I'm at, like, right now. Like, right now I'm so longing for some workstation builds or whatnot, but on a dead tight budget. In fact, I have an X99 ITX build in the works that I'm hoping to get either the end of January or first week of February on the channel, where I'm going to try to cram like 18 cores and 128 gigs of RAM into an ITX build, just for the fun of it.
Sounds fun.
NBA Jam, he's on fire. Yeah, no. Now NBA Jam's probably my go-to on my arcade cabinet. If
I was NBA Jam's good. I like the NFL Blitz 99.
NFL Blitz 99 is great. If I've got 10 minutes to burn, I'm going NBA Jam. That's usually my like. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break here. Boom shakalaka. That's my wheelhouse. X99 ITX. Why though? Why not?
That's the point. That's the why not. That's why you make the video.
Right.
When
have you seen my channel before?
Have you seen any YouTube channel before? It's always, why not? Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah. When will Xeon E7 motherboard be readily liquidated? Never, because they are non-standard form factors. They're not going to fit into an ATX case. You have to buy them in pre-sanctioned, in-house developed proprietary form factor chassis from first-party OEM. So that is Supermicro, Dell, HP, Cisco, and a couple others. There's not a lot of people who make them. There's not a lot of call for them on the used market. Sure, you can get Sandy Bridge with 18-core Xeon E7 CPUs in a 4-CPU configuration. But who's going to pay the shipping on a 4U chassis to run that system? Oh, and by the way, it's DDR3, PCI Express 3, and not a lot of speed or future expandability or anything else to go along with it. It's just a crap ton of cores in a very large chassis that's going to quite literally drain your local power company of every last cent that you have. There's not a lot of call for them. There's not a lot of use for them. They're cool. I've looked for them. I'm not going to say I haven't. But yeah, Xeon E7, you're encroaching on a realm of computing that just never really trickles down in a meaningful way into consumers' hands. It's amazing enough that, you know, server computing trickles down to consumer hands, to people like me. You know,
Kren had a great idea of you need to do a whole series. Let's call it Budget January. Everything's on a budget, but then
the problem is you plan that series in like October.
Yes, but then I said you have to go even higher. The camera you do has to be a budget camera. The beer you drink have to be budget beers. All the projects are budget. Jeff will be shooting off of his phone, drinking PBR.
Today on Craft Computing.
Exactly.
Does Rhett not get a work in January? Because I think he's well outside the budget. So for March this year, Mixology March will be making a return, where we're going to do nothing but mixed drinks for the month of March. So John, prepare your liquor cabinet and plan accordingly for your show.
I have plethoras.
Excellent.
Did you see my Romulan ales?
I did catch those in your tweets.
I didn't even know those existed, and my wife, that was the big surprise. My wife got.
No, they launched them, I think, November 1st.
Okay.
So I got a couple emails about them because I have everything else.
Yeah. No, I have all the wines, but I was like, I thought they only made the Kirk vodka or the two you have.
Yeah.
The whiskey and then a vodka.
Right.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, the 10 Forward vodka, the James T. Kirk single malt bourbon. Yeah, they've got obviously the Chateau Picard stuff. They've got like 4 different variants of Chateau Picard. They've got I have the Starfleet Special Reserve white and red bottles, which I think you do as well. There's the Klingon Blood Wine, which I've got. There's the Kanar, which I have to say, I bought 2 of those specifically because I wanted to drink one and then reuse the bottle. The Kanar was amazing good. Like,
really, I have 2 bottles of that as well.
Like, holy crap good. Like, you should probably open one good.
Just to, because I like the bottle.
Just to have it. Right. Oh. It was a damn good port dessert wine. Oh. Yeah, I was very happy with that one.
Yeah, I think this year's was the Ryza. They came out with like a rosé.
Oh yeah, the Ryzian ale. Yeah.
Oh, she got me those as well. So that was my big surprise, which you and I both know those stuffs are not cheap. They're expensive.
They're like,
but it's like
50 or 60 a bottle. Oh, and then you pay for shipping.
Exactly. Yes.
I think my 2 bottles of Kanar were like $130 after shipping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was like a 120, 130, something like that.
Yeah, it was right around there. Yep. It was rough.
It hurts.
Yep. But I will say, as someone who's had like $50 bottles of wine before,
that one's up there. It's like that was worth $50.
It was worth it. Yeah. So I have some family who are major winos. Like, they go to wine tastings regularly. They can tell you everything about every single crop in the Willamette Valley and Willamette Valley vineyards and everything else, about what years are good, what years are bad, and oh, this thing happened, and all of a sudden they like had to mix it with this, and oh, it's amazing this year. Like, they're into wine the way that you and I are into beer and spirits.
Okay.
Okay. Well, remember, I'm on my show right now.
Sorry.
That's okay. Well, come give me a hug. I don't mind getting a hug.
Thanks, but it was a mistake.
Yep.
Hi.
Hi.
What is he saying?
He's saying hi.
Oh, but
Hi.
can I listen too?
Sure, real quick.
Sure. Hi.
There you
Hi.
go.
Good
Why
night.
do you like this?
Because they're headphones.
They can go any size?
Yep. Well, if I hold them up to your ear, they'll fit.
Like this?
Yep, like that. All right. Say bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right. Well, I gave you one anyway. Ha ha ha. Close my door, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Cuteness alerts, yes. That is Little Bit, and she is every bit as cute in person as she looks on video. Anyway, where were we at? Chuck sends over another $5. Thank you very much, Chuck. By the way, I did see that you were drinking something in your previous super chat, although I can't scroll all the way back up to see what it was. I didn't get a chance to circle back because we got into the whole CES nVidia conversation. Yep, I can do that.
But free this time. Okay?
I know. There you go. Okay, take that out. Thank you. Bye again.
Bye.
Breaking all the rules already. Watch out for that one. Oh, they're the one we have our eye on. Don't worry about that. Stream rated. Yes, very much so. Kids and cats make videos better. Yeah. I try to get Rambo into videos whenever I can, but he cooperates, well, frankly, worse than kids do. In fact, he jumped off the desk and, man, he is such a dick sometimes. So I try to get him into camera, but he has very low patience for when I'm talking and moving my hands anywhere near him, and he'll slowly inch his way away. Anyway, let's see what else we got. Withings wants you to buy a $500 toilet accessory and be your WebMD when you pee.
Yeah.
I'd repeat that, but I really don't want to. So apparently they are making essentially a self-scanner to detect viruses and other illnesses in your urine direct from your bowl, and then Bluetooth you the results.
Yeah, that I can't wait for 2 years from now. We're gonna be doing the story of Withings
data breach.
Or it's going to be found out they've been selling your data the whole time.
You'll never guess which STD your favorite celebrity has.
Exactly. Or something like that, or that got hacked. Also, at the same time, too, the positioning. Like, it's at the front of the toilet. What if I'm like, oh, I stood up or something? I'm standing. I need more of the, urinal style cake. I need it to float. Maybe make it a game. I don't know.
There is a camera on it. That worries the living out of me.
Who's gonna? All right. Actually, staying.
Withings has also said its system conforms to the highest security standards, and that data will always be held in France in a GDPR compliance setup. It says that UScan will run for 3 months before needing a recharge via USB-C and a replacement cartridge. So there is a cartridge inside of this unit that basically takes a sample and then analyzes data based on who has used the commode in that particular session, I would guess. How
does it know who's doing it? Do you have to like log into your profile before you go pee?
I imagine each of you create a profile and then you go, oh yeah, that was mine.
But then everyone gets notified that, hey, someone peed. Who was it?
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Someone's got to claim this via text. It's intended to sit on the porcelain where most people's pee streams would land. There's a collection inlet at its lowest point, and the sensor will detect the presence of urine and trigger a pump to put a small quantity into its body. From there, the sample is pumped into a microfluidic system, which triggers a chemical reaction very similar to the COVID tests that we all know. Yeah, it's a litmus test, and it has a built-in camera for analyzing the stream, the data stream, so to speak. Darn. Yeah.
Darn. MSRP is $530. I thought if this was like $39.99, everyone in my family for Christmas next year. Everyone. That's what they're getting. We're gonna do the family plan, and everyone nationwide, we're all gonna be hooked up, knowing everyone's peeing, how everyone's doing. You know, also you gotta buy multiple. What if you like, oh, this is my favorite toilet, and what happens then? What happens if like, and I could be a little bit, you know, like I have a favorite toilet in my house. I gotta go do something. I'm gonna go to that one. Why?
Right.
Because there's more soundproofing. Let me put it that way. You know,
mine's behind a couple of closed doors.
Exactly. So if I'm not feeling well, that's still the toilet I'm going to go at. But it's not my everyday toilet. So it's not going to get my total scan, you know, 100% health. Right. What happens if I clog the toilet? Is this thing waterproof? Are all the crevices?
Does it have overflow protection? Buffer overflow?
Exactly.
Skull's wondering if the camera is used to detect who the patient is. And by the way, that's not face detection.
I know. I was going to say there was that article that talked about using that particular area as an ID.
Yep. We know that the surveillance state level technology is already there with gait detection as far as how do you walk, what are the angle of your shoulders, what's your pace, what's your stride length, to ascertain who you are as an individual, because everyone walks a little bit differently. I'm assuming we all have different genitals as well.
Oh man, this is if it just wasn't that much.
Hard-hitting journalism here on Craft Computing.
Although, see, this is another thing. This is CES. This is what I want to see at CES.
This is true.
This is the stuff I want to like. That's dumb.
The 3 years. So I went to 18, 19, and 20. And obviously I haven't been since then, and I'm not there now. But all 3 of those years, I dedicated a full day just to walk around the floor, not as a journalist, but as like I want to see some crazy crap. I want to see the most bass-ackwards implementation of technology that I ever have, or the biggest waste of money, or the coolest device that's outside of my realm of coverage. I want to see it. And I found some really cool stuff there. From AI ping pong players to things like there was the Sensel, the touch sensitive trackpad that you could use as like a MIDI synthesizer. There's been a lot of really cool stuff there, just walking around, seeing who's developing some fun stuff. John, by the way, your camera's dead again.
Hang on, I'm gonna replace the battery.
Cool.
I think it was just so dead that the charge couldn't keep up. Although now the mount will be hopefully not too far off.
Hey, he's back. Oh, there he goes.
Damn,
maybe.
What? No,
nope.
That's a brand new battery.
Nope.
What is going on? Was it a brand new battery? Maybe it wasn't charged.
You know, for only $1 a month, you can help Hops and Brews keep his camera gear up and running. Join the Patreon. Link is in the video description. Occasionally, I send John beer, which he doesn't have to spend his own money on, and he goes and buys new camera gear. And you too can help this very generous process. And also get access to the Discord server where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out there throughout the week. There is not a day that goes by that there's not a live video chat going on, with or without me. I drop in whenever I have the opportunity. It's a heck of a lot of fun. I am always in the voice or in the text chat. You have a question? Shoot it at me. I'm there. But the Patreon is one of the things that allows me to do this. It allows me to keep the lights on around here, keep producing videos, and keep getting to do this full time. So if you like the content, support it directly. I very much appreciate it.
I actually did buy more camera gear, just to let you know, but it was audio gear.
Okay.
It was audio gear. So,
did you?
I did actually. I bought a booster, but not for this. It's for videos. If I have to do lives, I bought a little mixer and a preamp that can do micro XLR and 2 inputs.
Nice.
And so I can have a boom mic and then 2 wides. And
nice.
So
if
I ever need to do a close-up shot where I don't have enough personal mics, I can do that.
When it comes to production gear, I'm one of those people who often tries to overthink the general consensus of the room and tries to go a little bit more budget than I should, or like, this is the de facto standard at like $180, but for $70 I can do the same thing. And then you buy the $70 thing and then you go, this is missing like this one feature, or it doesn't work as well as I'd like it to with this one thing. I'm going to spend the $100 and I'm going to get the next thing. And then I'm going to spend $120 and get the next thing. And then you finally buy the $170 one and you go, oh, that's why everyone recommends this one. So I've gone through like 4 or 5 different audio interfaces over the last 2 years. And I finally bought myself a Scarlett Focusrite 2i2.
Mm-hmm.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I should have just bought that from the outset. So I will often spend $400 to avoid spending the $170, but that includes the $170 purchase price that I usually wind up spending.
Oh yeah. No.
So
the reason I even got this was more for that rarity that, like, when Steve comes over, or I have one person over, I have 2 lapels. That's fine. It's when I have 3, 4, a large group at the end, and I need to get the room, and I don't have enough, and then I don't want the echo-ness of the room because of the camera angle has to be further back, so therefore the mic is further back. So I wanted an XLR, but then I also like this one because I can have a close-up XLR, so a boom mic, but then I can also have a room too, so then I can mix it. So I can actually have 3 channels of audio going at one time.
Nice.
So,
I just went with the 2i2. All I ever do is solo recording, voiceover work, and then the occasional in-person show. For live shows, I can take this out. It's got 2 channels in. We've got a couple of nice shotgun mics that have worked wonders in the past for us for live production. Or if it's just me and another person, I've got the Rode wireless to go too, which is a phenomenal setup for multiple people. Gosh, we did last week's entire show on the Rode
Yeah, I saw that the
Rode
little
2s.
squares.
Yeah, just clip those to our shirts and off we go. And the audio, I think, was 98% of the time pretty phenomenal. We could have done a little bit more mixing, a little bit more compressor as it's going through OBS, but overall, it's like I was sitting across the room getting live audio in a fairly good quality. So, yeah, I finally settled on the two things that I probably should have settled on in the first place, but I went through 3 different wireless setups and 4 different PC USB audio mixers to find the ones that were already recommended to me. So, but hey, in the meantime, you get like use Xeon content and why you should or shouldn't do that. Yeah. So you have to take my left brain with my right brain. Like, it's just the way it goes. Labs are nice. Yeah, I really like the Rode Video Go 2 microphones. So we've got the 2-user setup. They're little clip packs that you can literally just like clip on a collar, and they've got pretty decent microphones built into them. Or you can hook up lapels and do that. I usually hook up a lapel if I'm doing an actual video shoot and I'm not here in my office with my shotgun microphone. But even the built-in mic is honestly fantastic quality. And if you're not doing live audio, if you're recording it and you can run it through a pre-processing compressor and a little bit of EQ, man, you can get some fantastic results out of that thing. So yeah, great stuff.
No audio.
Great stuff.
Yeah, you can get some really good audio. I looked at those too. They're really nice. Mm-hmm. They're within a pretty decent budget too, if I remember correctly.
Like, I think they were like 230, something like that.
Yeah,
like
they were. I think when I was looking, it was like 199 to 220 ish. You know, I think they're still probably within there. Yeah, and they're fantastic.
$230 for the kit today. For the 2-channel kit today.
Yeah.
And then I also have a charging kit which I spent $50 on, and it's a docking station and external battery that if you're like going to CES, you can do some shoots, and then in between shoots, slam your Rodes into a docking station and case that will charge them at the same time. And you can charge them you can charge everything. I think it was 3 times. So your receiver and both transmitters a full 3 times. They last 4 hours by themselves. So theoretically, you could do
16 hours,
12 to 16 hours of continuous shooting with this setup. Like, it's fairly crazy.
Got a super chat from Tech Geek.
Tech Geek, $50. Thank you very much, sir. Evening nerds. Just got done with work. We'll rewatch tomorrow. Cheers. Cheers to you.
Sir.
Appreciate you watching on the replay, be it in podcast form, anchor.fm, or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. We are pretty much everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, Google. We're everywhere. Yeah, John, you keep going out of focus. I don't know what it's.
I don't know.
I
didn't touch that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's trying to do.
Yeah. Or subscribe to Craft Extra and get clips directly from this show. We'll pick out the best stuff and cherry pick everything for you. Get it in bite-sized chunks that you can get delivered to your inbox if you subscribe and click that bell. So that's what I'd recommend you doing. And in fact, we're getting near being able to monetize Craft Extra. So the more the merrier.
Why is that not focused? That is odd. Why did it stop focusing?
You're fine.
It's artistic. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
It's an artistical look.
It'd be more you if it were like
I could
you gotta get the off kilter
over. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta get that 10-degree lean. There you go.
I can just do this. I'll just do this. I'll just
Instagram perfection.
Instagram. Hang on. There we go.
Or is it just a white woman? A white woman's Instagram.
Hashtag be yourself, yo.
Hashtag blessed. Last story for the night, the hidden cost of cheap TVs.
Yes.
I think we all inherently, tangentially, suspiciously know this, but a lot of the TVs that we find nowadays are very inexpensive. I saw a 65-inch TV for $248 at Walmart the other day. And I went, holy crap, how did they get a 65-inch TV for $250? Because you and I both know what 70 and 75-inch TVs cost just a couple of years ago.
Yes, we do.
Yes, yeah. You when you opened your tap house, and me when I bought my new house and bought a 75 for myself. They were not cheap, but all of a sudden, like in the last 2 years, you can get a 65-inch for $250, a 70-inch for under $400. Why is that? Well, it's because of the smart TV that's part of that package. You don't just buy a screen and then hook peripherals to it anymore. No, you buy an ecosystem, and they're hoping that you'll use that ecosystem and that they can, well, do what everyone else does and deliver ads to you and make you the product of the product that you purchased. This should have been patently obvious to anyone who has bought a TV within the last 5 years, with Samsung Smart Hub and LG's WebOS integration and Vizio, Smart Home, and everything else, or Alexa built in.
Roku integration. Yep.
Right. But at the end of the day, you're the product, because we're saving money getting cheaper TVs because they can deliver content in a way that you're more likely to view it in. That is sitting down in your living room and picking an application and getting ads fed directly into your smart TV from whoever wants to buy them. So,
yeah, I know. I mean, well, if they want to know that I go to Plex a lot, that's what they're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
What shows this guy keeps going to Plex?
Right.
Man, that company must be putting out some great free content. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's mine. So, we do have a couple of fringe services. We have Disney Plus, we have Paramount Plus, and we have Motor Trend. Because I watch a lot of Motor Trend. And then I've got my Plex server. And my Plex server has my entire physical media library, plus extras, ready to go, so I don't have to pop in a Blu-ray or anything else, or own a Blu-ray player anymore. And I can watch all that content. And then we've got just a couple ancillary services that cost me maybe $15 or $18 a month. I don't have Netflix. I don't have Hulu. I don't have anything else. We have Disney Plus. We have Motor Trend, which is like $3. And I think we have Paramount Plus simply because we watch all the Star Treks. And so you get Lower Decks and Picard and everything else. Cool. I'm happy to pay those because those are things that I watch.
Yeah, but if they didn't know I already like Star Trek, they know now. Trust me, it's been blasted everywhere.
Right. But I also don't use the built-in smart TV functionality of my Vizio or LG TVs or my Samsung TV. I have literally all three in my house. I go out and spend $25 on a Roku 4K streaming stick, and I use that. And that's probably what all of you are better off doing, is going and buying a Fire Stick or a Roku stick or some other form of streaming device. Number one, you're going to get better support because it's a company whose reputation and livelihood depends on you liking the experience, not just you begrudgingly having to use it. And two, because as Linus actually covered this last week, there's a reason your smart TV sucks. It's because they're skimping on a lot of the electronics inside of it because they don't have to spend that much money to do it. It's a value add with no value gain. So
yeah, those companies with the damn it, son of a.
I wasn't even going to mention because there's 4 minutes left.
I just noticed. All right. That's what I get for buying a budget camera.
That's right. You should have gone full frame, my friend. I'll sell you my A7 III.
Yeah, no, that's okay. The only thing
I wouldn't buy it if I were you, because all your lenses are APS-C.
Exactly, and I love Sony's autofocus feature.
Yeah,
it's great. I know. I thought about upgrading to a nicer Sony. But man, they're just still so expensive.
They really are. Yeah, so I sold my Z-Cam, not because I didn't love my Z-Cam. I truly did love the Z-Cam E2. But having a camera operator who's not necessarily fluent in how to do manual focus 100% of the time, I wanted a little bit of autofocus in my life. And so I decided to sell the Z-Cam E2, and I bought 2 Sony full-frame cameras. I bought an A7 III and an A7 IV. And I also bought a pair of Rokinon 24-70 f2.8 autofocus lenses. I can tell you those are some of the worst purchases I've ever made in my life, because both of them are out for repair right now because the lens mount literally fell off.
Oh, yes, that's right. All right, you can put me back on.
Okay. You're still blank on my side.
Really?
Your video stopped transmitting on my side. You're just tops and brews in Zoom.
Oh, start video. There it is. Cannot start Veil to start video camera. Please select another video camera.
But yeah, so I bought these 2 lenses. They were $800 lenses. They were not inexpensive. And I've had phenomenal luck with a lot of Rokinon Cine lenses in the past. In fact, I also, in the last year and a half, bought a full set of Rokinon Cine lenses from 14 to 85 millimeter for doing primary camera shoots with. And that's pretty much what every single video is shot on, is Rokinon 24, 35, and 50 millimeter lenses with some fringe cases needing 85 and 14. And there you are.
There I am.
Yeah, so I bought these 2 lenses, and literally within 2.5 months of regular use, the lens mount on the lens fell off.
Oh yeah, the bit you showed, or I saw the.
I made a couple of tweets about it. And I told Rokinon, I want my money back. I don't even want these repaired. I want cash back, because the idea that these lenses are professional series lenses at $800 and I can treat them as such is absolute hogwash, because you're holding the entire lens mount to the camera with 4 M2 screws and the most brittle of ABS plastic in some fairly lengthy standoffs from the body of the camera that I've ever seen. And the idea that that's going to hold up over time when both of them failed within the same use period is asinine.
Just for low light.
So they said, unfortunately, we're not able to do that as per warranty, but we will honor the warranty and whatnot. So I sent both lenses out for repair to their US repair facility. I should be getting the package back on Friday.
We'll see how good it is.
We'll see if they even repaired it. Number one.
Well, that'll be an interesting video. Or just even like a video tweet. You know what you should do is then like do like an unboxing of like a live unboxing, or stream it on some social media.
I don't mean to pass the buck on to the next person, but at the same time, I kind of want to just open the box, make sure they both work, and then sell them on eBay, and then go buy a Sony 24-70.
That's what I was looking for.
Like I'll take 500 each for the lenses. Like I'm not huge on needing to get all of my money back. I do feel that Rokinon probably owes me a fair amount of money for the money that I invested into these two very expensive lenses. But at the same time, if I can just get rid of them on eBay,
you'll just be like, it's a wash. It's fine.
It's a wash. I'll just buy the Sony 24-70 that I probably should have bought in the first place, and I'll move on with my life. So, yeah. Let's see. Tech Geek member for 6 months, also half a year. Woohoo! Excellent. Let's see. John is an NPC tonight. Yeah. Did Jeff Geerling just say that Pis don't have AV1 decoding earlier in the stream? They do not. They do have hardware H.264 decoders on board. They might have X265, but I don't recall off the top of my head. Geerling would definitely be more in that wheelhouse than I am. But no, they do not have AV1 decoders on board. That type of hardware vastly predates the current generation Raspberry Pi 4. Now, the Raspberry Pi Foundation has come out and stated that expect new hardware that is in a new Model B sometime in 2023. So
man, those prices of their stuff have gone up so much, though.
And it's all supply and demand.
I understand that part,
right.
But it's just because I went to go buy one, just to be like, I'll convert my main machine into RetroPie,
right?
And I went to go look up prices, and I was like, I'm not paying that. I can't.
Right.
I just
$135 for an 8 gig Raspberry Pi 4. Like, yeah, it's 8 gigs, but that should be like 70.
Exactly. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, I want a case.
I do have a CM4 on a.
Oh, look at that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was for your server, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is the Bly KVM that I just did a video about.
Yep.
So there's a lot of other up-and-coming SBC based systems that are really exciting, including Rockchip has actually thrown down, what is it, the 3688 or something like that, 3699. That is a very impressive amount of performance for like a $99 SBC. It can run Linux, it can run Ubuntu, it can run Android, and do it fairly well. So I've actually been looking around and seeing like maybe I should try tinkering around with some of those type things and seeing what kind of content I can make on them. So more like $250 for Pi for 8 gigs. Yeah, no, I was being very generous.
Well, I think it's $250 for like if you buy the kit. That comes with the case, the cooling, the SD card. Mm-hmm. It is, I think it's like $250 if you do that. Where it comes with the power supply with the on and off switch for the USB-C.
Yeah.
Which they always overcharge for that little piece of hardware.
Yeah.
But for like if you want the slap it together kit, everything comes together. I think it is like $225, $250, which is just ridiculous. It's like where a couple years ago, $119 for that exact same kit. $80 for the Pi and then $40 for the case and plethora of things.
Right.
Something like that.
So I know Raspberry Pi is as eager to get the prices down as the rest of us are.
I don't blame
because I mean the whole purpose of their foundation was availability in a $35 PC, and if the PCs are selling for $80, they've missed the whole point of why they exist. And so they definitely want to get it down to get it back available into people's hands. And I mean, remember, at the heart of it, Raspberry Pi is a foundation and a nonprofit organization. The main goal of that organization is to get computers into the hands of kids and lower end communities and third world and whatnot that might not otherwise have access to modern computers. And as of the Pi 4, you could run a full Linux desktop and be able to browse the modern web and view 1080p YouTube videos and go to every modern website and actually be a true desktop replacement at $35 plus a USB-C adapter and a cheap HDMI monitor.
Under $100.
Under $100 for a complete setup.
Yeah, we were looking at that for my office of doing that for all of our workstations and being like, look, and if someone steals it or breaks it or whatever, $100 is nothing,
right?
Because all most of my people do is just open up tabs and browsers.
Yep,
that's all they're doing.
Right. That's all a lot of people do anymore as far as computing. It's all in browser or in app, and if you can't get it in app, you can probably get it in browser. So there's a lot to that, and I will say, from using a Raspberry Pi 4 quite extensively over the last year in a desktop environment, trying to tweak different things, and especially, I worked with one quite a bit, working with Parsec and Moonlight for game streaming, but it worked just fine as a honestly day-to-day computer when I wasn't connected to a gaming PC. And there really is something to that. And like I said, I'm sure the Raspberry Pi Foundation is just as eager as the rest of us to get it back down into the $35 to $50 computer like it should be. So
yeah. I know. I like I said, when I was looking at I didn't blame them. I was just like, oh man, just the way everything is right now.
Yeah.
Even the Raspberry Pis are just ridiculously, and they are supposed to be the cheap consumer part. But yeah. So
anyway, that's going to do it for us here on Talking Heads, episode 266. Make sure to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to Hops and Brews if you like the beer content on this channel and want to see more of that type of stuff. As for us, join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news. John, anything coming up? Your channel that you want to plug?
Yeah, nothing. Just I'm going to be doing probably either this week or beginning of Monday if I get the video edited. Just work's been busy. New year, that's just the way it goes. Yep. Personal hygiene with beers is going to be a thing for a couple videos.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I will give a little bit of a spoiler for Mixology March. I've been experimenting lately with some non-alcoholic spirits, and I'm trying to do some.
My experience with them is not good.
I know yours has not been good. Let me tell you, the first two that I've tried make some pretty decent cocktails.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, if it can fool me, that's fine.
So I don't know that it would fool you. I don't know that I would go like, here's an old fashioned. But if I said, here is a drink that will scratch that itch.
That's fine. Okay. I can understand that. Since I already have like soda carbonated drinks that can kind of already do that in a sense.
Right. Right.
But then for me, I had to point out I might comment on those videos is that I made price for that non-alcoholic spirit is expensive.
This costs me just as much as, maybe even more so than my house bourbon does.
Exactly. And
but I made myself an old fashioned at 9:30 this morning and thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's all right. That's fine. That's an interesting aspect. Okay.
So
I look forward to hearing it.
Yeah. So now Mixology March is going to include a whole bunch of different things, from craft cocktails and regular stuff to I'm going to do a couple of things with non-alcoholic cocktails because I know there's people out there who don't drink, and that's totally cool. And man, if you guys could take part in the craft and the activity, like that's kind of also why I got into this. So
some of my, I think like the third and fourth largest video are non-alcoholic stuff.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, we're going to be doing a little bit of that in March. Anyway, thumbs up, subscribe, bell, everything else.
Click it all.